Okay, we have enough for a quorum, and since Courtney's got a hard stop, we should probably go ahead and get started. First is updates from Courtney.
Yes. Thank you everyone for making it alive and hopefully semi-well. My update basically is just going to be about the meeting that the board and deputies had on September 22nd. We met with Paul, and Paul, I'm going to butcher your last name and I'm so sorry, Kachirian, and he helped us lead a discussion and the first coming up with creating a Nordecke mission and vision and core values, mission statement and vision statement, and then coming up with the core values for the organization. We thought this was important to do because creating those is building blocks to coming up with eventually strategizing of where we want the organization to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and having a mission statement of what the organization is created for and stands for, and having a clear and conscious action oriented of like what our purpose is, and then a vision statement of where we want to be in 5 to 10 years, and then coming up with steps, not just for this board, but for boards having those guidelines of like, this is the mission, how do we get there, and following action plans for that. We're not complete in that yet. It was a really good session. We had members both online and in person that did different activities. Paul, before the meeting, had us fill out surveys and went over those results with us in those surveys. And it's interesting that basically the entire board came up with everything. We all said the same things, but in different words throughout the whole process. So we came up, Paul's come back with us, and this next part, if we did want to meet with him again and have him facilitate to kind of get us over the finish line, is still part of this project, so it still would be pro bono. And then in the future, if we did want to partner with him and coming up with member engagement strategies or organizational strategy plans, then we would explore fee-based opportunities. But Paul came to us, and we thank him so much because I think it was a really good session. And I personally want to hear from the other board members because I think that it would be important to have one more in-person meeting with him as he facilitates us getting definitive mission statement and vision statement. So if anyone else has any thoughts on that.
Yep, I'm gonna say I agree. I think the first session went really well. Got us pointed in the right direction. Like you said, we were all kind of aligned, just all had different ways of getting there. So like you said, one more session, I think we can really nail it down and hammer it out and come away with some really good stuff to grow on.
Yeah, I'd agree with that too. Really good session, alignment, but it was interesting. I think some of us put things in different orders, and I think there's that'll create some interesting conversation at the next one. Same things on the list, but maybe kind of different views on prioritization. So it'll be an interesting conversation. Looking forward to the next one.
So then can I put in motion that we do look at our calendar to have a second in person, as many people as can be in person? Obviously, there's a few board members with the exceptions that maybe can't be in person, but it's got as many people in person to do one more in-person meeting with Paul, and then we'll take it to Slack to explore what those dates look like to get us there.
Was that a motion, Courtney?
Yes, that's a motion to have one more in-person meeting to get us so that we can nail down that vision and mission statement.
Okay, second.
Aye.
Aye.
I was thinking the other three of us here in the room agree with it too.
Aye.
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 Yep.
That's 5.
So Courtney, this is Robbie. What I'll do is I'll similar to what I did last time, I'll send out a poll out to the board on Slack and try to see what available dates, what's a good available date and time for everyone. And then what I will do, if everyone was okay with the library being a good, the downtown library being a good place to meet, I'm happy to look at availability for that once we've selected a date and time.
Yeah, that works for me if that works for everyone else.
Welcome, Daniel.
All right, and then that's the only major update I have right now. Other points are in other business points that we'll all talk about and go over. So yeah, that's good for me. Thank you.
All right, next is comms. Colin and Allison are both not here currently, so we will skip. Emily,
Right into community.
I will say Emily
She
just
walked
walked
in right there.
Oh, sorry. For my update?
Yes,
Oh,
do you have any
sorry,
updates for
thanks.
community?
Yeah, this Saturday we have, Mid Ohio Food Bank, our volunteer event, and then the last one that we have on the 25th, I still need, about 8 more people to sign up for MASH pantry. And then we will be doing also the last regular season game, we will be doing a donation drive for MASH, so. That's it.
What do they use?
Well, I'll post, it's a veterans pantry, yeah, so there's a list of.
Sounds good. Thanks, Emily.
Hey Emily, this is Robbie. Just one question for you, and if you said it, I apologize. I couldn't hear you. But did Ty ever get back with you on Scattered Joy? If that was something that they were looking to do on the 18th, or has that just been like tabled for probably for another?
Not said anything more about it.
I'm sorry, say it again.
He hasn't said anything more about the Scatter Joy. The last time that we brought it up, he said tentatively for the 18th, but I haven't heard anything from him about that since.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
Sorry.
Okay, next is creative.
All right. So just a little update for everybody. We are now in kind of what I would call a hostile situation in our current space. So anytime there is an issue in that building, from here on out, it will probably be blamed on us. And they will attempt to force us to pay to fix it or clean it or whatever the situation is. Like, we will have to be the ones to remedy that or be kicked out of that space. So it is more important than ever that we find a new TiVo space. For those not in the like the leadership Slack channel, thought we had identified a space and was kind of in the process of negotiating with them and looking at some different options about how we can make that space work. And then come to find out that is just not going to be an option. So the search continues. I have a few more spaces that I have called about and waiting to hear back on that are in kind of the same price range as that one. So hopefully we'll be able to come up with something soon. But yeah, the space that we had identified and that we were working toward is not going to work. So
Hey, Brent, how much square footage are we looking for?
we asked for like minimum 3,000.
Gotcha.
And that's uninterrupted 3,000 square feet. That's a big point to have because the big problem with what we have now, one is that it's not big enough to begin with, but two, that we have cut down space because of the poles in that area.
How's the current relationship be strained?
I'm not really sure entirely, like, it was a situation where, the men's room flooded in there, and they seemed to think that that was because our group was flushing paper towels down the toilet. Not sure, like, they've said paint covered paper towels are what they put out of the toilets. I mean,
They said that, but we not seen.
right, you've seen no evidence of that, that's just what they've said. And. I mean, outside of. A handful of times, like. A handful of times this year. The cleanup has largely been on just a couple of people, and myself being one of those, and a couple other people that I know pretty well, and I feel very confident that. It's not any of us doing that. So I'm not. I told them when I talked to them, like. I'm not going to accept the blame for that, like, I'm not. Like. I'm not just gonna like say, oh yeah, our bad, like we'll do that, like, I'm not gonna do that because I don't think it's us.
It's bad plumbing.
I think there's a,
Anybody's doing anything
yeah.
that's, oh, bad plumbing.
So then there was a second time when that men's room overflowed. And when that had like, it really overflowed this time to the point where you couldn't even walk in there. So then everybody in the building was using that one women's room that's right there. And they came in one day and there was like pee on the seat and there were some paper towels on the floor because the trash can was full and nobody had taken it out. And they once again, like, well, I don't think it's any of the women in the building that are doing that. No, it's probably not the women in the building that are peeing on the seat, but all the men are using it right now, not just us. Like, so it's just a, like, how can I find somebody to blame for this problem to make my other tenants happy because they're paying a lot more money? It's my view on the situation.
And we have probably the same people coming through from them, but then, yeah, the whole other door system. Yeah, oh, it's that.
Also, I just like to say there was pee all over that toilet seat for over a week, so.
Really wasn't a priority for them.
And any other bathrooms in that whole building?
I believe there's so much there.
The one,
Stairs, but we don't have access to those.
They are-
We're restricted from going upstairs.
so I think unless there are some like in the warehouse spaces out back. I think those are the only ones.
But yeah, so if anyone knows anyone that is into real estate and has some big warehouses that they aren't using and want to do good deeds, let us know. Cause that's just the thing, like,
We should call them.
I hear that there's a notable owner who says that we need to increase investment.
Okay. Allison, I saw that you joined. Did you have any updates from Colin for comms?
hi, sorry that took forever. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can.
Yep.
I'm in the car, like a psychopath person trying to run around, do 1,000 things. I'm so sorry I was late. No, I don't think so. Just like apologies from us that things have been a little late. Like Colin just started a new job. I'm a public school teacher now in October, and things are really crazy. So we apologize if there's anything that we are dropping the ball on getting out. We know that we need to be a little better about them. So I guess just full accountability from us that we're doing our best. But I don't think so. What did he have anything added to the agenda that I might have missed?
No, he didn't have any agenda items.
I don't, yeah, he hasn't really said anything to me about it. So I'm just adding to like speak on behalf of both of us that, our apologies if things have been a little late. Like I posted a watch party a couple days like later than I wanted to because it didn't give people enough like access time to it. And, emails haven't been going out as consistently on Wednesdays. But just that stuff that we're working on between us, and just be on the lookout for things regarding playoffs. We'll get those whenever we get the information about it. But that's really it, I think, from the comms aside, unless anyone has any grievances to air out that I can answer.
Doesn't look like it.
Yay. Okay. Thank you all for not making me cry then by having a grievance. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
They'll be shared in private, don't you worry.
Yeah. Yes, please roast me about whatever you need to later. I couldn't handle it right now, or I might burst into tears. Thanks, guys. Allison, for a dynamic duo team of two that handle everything, you guys are killing it. So good job. Oh, well, I appreciate that. There's definitely things that we want to improve, and this time right now is just, I think, tough with both of us. So just want to own it and take accountability. Yes, things aren't getting out on time, but I appreciate you saying that because we are trying. But it's just a season. It'll fix itself in the end. Hopefully, God willing, we'll see. But yeah, thank you guys. And if, as always, if there's ever any issues that you have with comms, just please let us know because we love feedback.
Okay. Next is game day. I know Trent wasn't able to make it on the call. But Paco, did you have any updates?
I don't have much, if anybody knows anything about me, they know two things, I'm really good looking, and optimist. Probably after this, probably this is pretty fun, but. So I know as far as Trent, some of the conversations we've had, especially about decision day. We are trying to get into the stadium early on the 18th, early kick. The ask right now is to see if we can get about 10:30. That we can set up, get everything ready, so then focus our attentions, the tailgate, but so for folks, if you guys have ever wanted to come out and help, now's the chance to do that. We're kind of running out of opportunity, but so we're always looking for volunteers. If you have an early bird, please come at the end. It's really appreciated. It's probably safe to say that that being a little bit for us. So just encouraging everybody that comes out, capital, Drummond, just come out and be as loud as you can. With get the noise level up in the stadium. I will not be at the game on the 18th, but Portland Marlins will be there, and Norm and Trent. So if there's any issues, they definitely take care of all of that, and we'll have that all set up. October 5th, last Cappy game. Come out and cheer on the boys.
You cannot buy tickets online, but you can buy tickets as you walk up. And supposedly you can still get the $5 season ticket deal if you walk up, though ticket sales isn't gonna know how to handle that. But that's what ticket reps are saying.
We both had rough seasons, so come on, cheer on our boys. I have asked to see if we can get some smoke. So, we'll get some smoke. I will hopefully find out soon about that. If I find it either, so we'll hopefully have a festive environment. you know, we do have a number of playoff scenarios available to us. I don't think we'll know anything until about the 18th. Most likely we'll probably be away. That's a Wednesday game for the 22nd, so I'm sure the 19th will probably be talking about plans for that Wednesday, or they don't be moving forward, but I told you I'm a not people.
Yeah, so you're playing for.
Yeah. So, ideally, love, host a wild card on the 22nd and host it again, but I guess we won't find out until we get into that. So just send out your new vibes, if you can create or the art moment, yes.
It's the first time ever you can vote for Toronto to get a win. That really help us out.
It's some good vibes out there.
So we have this vision for Toronto and.
But yeah, that's all I got.
Imagine driving to Chicago.
Is the bring early on that home game, Jason? We could. The ask was put in for normal 5 hours before,
So
I think it was like.
likely somewhere between 12 and that. But we're awaiting final confirmation, which will probably come about 11:59 on October 7th. So.
Passes was still on sale, but we just don't know when you get.
We will communicate as soon as we know, as I said, we put out well ahead of time. So.
Where's the beer?
That's better.
Okay. Next is merchandise, Brad.
Yep, so working with Supporter Supply for a kind of hoodie for the winter time. And I'm gonna start working on membership kits for next year. So if anyone has inputs on what they would like to see in the kits for next year. I'm open to anything and everything. All options are on the table. And keep them exciting, new and different from what we've had before. There was a lot of good feedback on having kind of the 3 different tiers to it, so I kind of want to stick with the same. Give people options on what they want. And, yeah, that's all that I have for now. Oh, possibly working with Colin and Allison and the rest of the board to have kind of an end of the year clearance sale merch to go through the closet, see what we have, and get it out. Maybe still fleshing it out. We got mugs for days. Buy a shirt, get a mug. We'll get some kind of deal together. So what we can come up with.
Mug shirt, get 5.
Yeah, mug shirt, get 5. So yeah, we will see what happens.
Do we maybe look at like a smaller-ish water bottle that fits the requirements, since maybe they're gonna be less of a jerk about letting us take in water bottles for hot matches next year?
Yeah, we can do that.
Those like 40 months.
Get like the soft collapsible ones or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. See what's out there.
Okay. All right. Partnerships, Ravi, did you have any updates?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Just a couple things. First, Allison, I just kind of posted on Slack that we have Nordecke Town Hall on Tuesday, October 14th. This will be at 7th Sun at the lower event hall or lower event space. So just wanted to, when you guys if you guys can put together a social post for that, both in the newsletter as well as something on the story or as a post on IG. So that will be on Tuesday. On the 18th, our last home game, Counterbalance, we will be providing beer for that. Courtney already provided an update on Paul's thing, so I'm going to send out when I get home, either tomorrow or later tonight, I'll send out a poll to get everyone's availability for this month as well as for November. And then lastly, I kind of briefly talked about this at the last board meeting, but I didn't put this in a motion board. But one of the ideas was like having seeing if we can get a Nordecke jockey box for a lot of our beer partners that do provide kegs. So this is just a way to kind of make it a little bit easier for them to ensure that we have kind of the equipment on hand if they do want to provide beer. I did get a quote from the beer captain of $800. So I think I mentioned it last time. I didn't introduce it as a motion that time. I will introduce it as a motion in the channel a little bit later on. So just a heads up on that, and I'll be happy to take any questions once we get to there. And then lastly, for the playoff game, once that's announced, actually maybe even before that's announced, I'll reach out to beer partners to see if we can get a beer partner for that tailgate. So that is all I have. Any questions?
Yeah, I have one. I tried to ask last month, but my phone was having some signal issues. For those of us not familiar with the terminology, can you explain what a jockey box is?
Yeah, so what a jockey box is, it's basically kind of like the it's a box where you'll connect both the CO2 as well as the pipes from the keg into the box, so that way it allows the beer to be carbonated once it's poured. Usually it's most breweries will have such a thing, but very few of them, but not all of them do. And this is a way for us to be able to have that equipment available on hand if a beer partner decides to bring us kegs instead of cans. Usually kegs are a little bit easier for us because that way it doesn't take up too much space in the trash can when people are done disposing of their cans. So it's just another healthy alternative for us to be able to provide that. I think one of the things I did mention on Slack, but I forgot to mention earlier, is that we can also have like a cash jug or like a donation box for people who want to donate money for it. So that way we can like replenish some funds to it. I don't know what the rules are for that, if the FO would be against us doing that, but just as an idea.
Robbie, any idea? Because I know it's not very big if I'm thinking of what you're thinking of, right? It's kind of like the size of like maybe like a cooler or something, essentially like that. Do we have an idea who would be taking responsibility for that, for storage purposes, and who would be responsible for bringing that? Would it just be a random board member or?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I haven't really thought about that. I think like the one person that came in my mind was beer captain. If he would be, since he's usually going to be at the games, I figured Scott would probably be the best person. Otherwise, normally it would be the partnerships person as well to be responsible for bringing it. So either the beer captain or I will be responsible for it. So if it has to be a board member, then it will be me.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. Curtis, do you have any updates?
Yeah, just a few, it's been pretty quick. So first of all, this is more of a game day update, but this is more of a preview of coming attractions. I've started the conversation with Trent and Joey about kind of formalizing what I've been doing this season with kind of the unofficial kids corner at the tailgate, and try to make that more of kind of a formal thing going forward, starting next season. Very early, we have no idea what that'll look like yet, and in terms of how that plays out. But if anyone's interested in it, I've already approached a couple folks who have kids and are regularly at the tailgate. If anyone else is interested in having some conversations over the winter about what that could be and what it would look like, reach out to me and we'll pull you into the conversation as well. So that's kind of it for that. And then for travel, we just had our second biggest game of the year last weekend. I think we had about 110 to 120 folks in Chicago. Other than the game, it was a good time. As always, partnered with 3-1 Crew. They did a great tailgate. I will be asking for a donation similar to what we did in New York and Charlotte to kind of help them out with the cost. I'll do that in Slack at a later date. But yeah, overall went very well. Our last away game is coming this Saturday. A very small crowd going down to Orlando. And then for the playoff games, we will of course have away tickets. Depending on location, we will explore doing a bus. Probably not for the 8-9 game if we wound up in Chicago or Nashville, which I believe are still possibilities. We just too short of a turnaround, and plus a midweek game, I doubt we would. But if we wind up in a scenario where we're doing a driving distance game for the round of 3, that could be Philadelphia, Cincinnati, Nashville. I doubt Chicago can climb that high. But anyways, if it's any driving distance city, we will explore having a bus, and we will have tickets for all away games.
Curtis, real quick question.
Yep, yep.
If it were Chicago, let's say we get in that wild card and we're playing in Chicago, are you exploring a bus option on a Wednesday, and would it be an up and back trip for people that want to know?
I guess I'd love some feedback from folks here, because we typically struggle to fill bus seats when it's a Saturday game that's like the Cincinnati game that's planned months in advance. So considering that's one we'd have to fill in like 48 hours, I was skeptical whether we'd get enough folks, but if people feel differently, push back.
I mean, not that I want to push back or do that, but maybe that's something we can engage and see if we put out feelers, working with comms, just putting out a poll onto various socials and seeing if people would be interested in that. That way we kind of engage if that's something even to look into.
I'm fine doing that. I think maybe wait until after this weekend's games, just kind of see, we might have a clearer vision after this weekend of, how the standings are, and, whether Chicago or even Nashville, I believe, is still a mathematical possibility too, that we could be playing the 8-9 game in Nashville. So either of those are, roughly 5-6 hour drive. I'm fine exploring interest. And if people want to, we have relationships with bus companies. We would probably post that in some sort of capacity that we need to sell at least, X
amount,
seats. Yeah, or every will be canceled for everybody. So TBD what that number would be. But I'm fine getting some quotes from some bus companies. It would most likely be a down and back if it's Cincinnati or Nashville. I'm sorry, definitely Cincinnati, but also Chicago or Nashville. I guess we could put that on the poll and ask what people prefer, but I assume with the midweek game, people are going to want to get back.
Down and back, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure, because I've had a couple conversations with people just saying that they would just gauging interest in talking about stuff like that. So
yeah, the good news is,
extensive research, but like I said, it's just the last couple weeks, just people bringing that up and stuff like that. So
yeah. The good news is we don't have to worry about availability, because I've talked to the bus companies enough. Weekends can get pretty full, but pretty much you could get a bus on a day's notice for a weekday. So if we do want to do that for the 8-9 game, availability won't be an issue.
perfect.
Curtis,
Yes.
so if you end up doing any sort of polling, I would probably get with Bud to compare whatever you get with, what we've gotten previously, and compare that to, like, there's a certain amount to which people will say absolutely until the moment it happens, and if we can compare that with historical data from a couple of years ago, maybe we get an idea of how much higher or lower interest is for this compared to just general norms or
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good call. I definitely agree with that. Is somebody else speaking too?
No, there's just a lot of background noise here.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I agree. I know it's a good idea. So I think we have access to all that.
Before we jump away from these updates, I was saying, heard it a couple of times tonight where we've been like saving motions to go back to Slack. And I think that's fine when it's because it's like something that we know we're gonna have a lot more discussion on before we vote, so we don't want to take up all of the meeting time with it. But if it's something that's like relatively quick, like I think a couple of the things tonight have been, I think we really need to try to do them in these meetings. That was one piece of feedback that several of us have had for boards in the past. So we don't like when they take decisions like that behind closed doors all the time. And I know that there was nothing ill intent in that, but I'd like to be consistent with what I've asked from other people as well. So if you have motions, if we could go back to those and introduce them.
That's fair. And I'll be very transparent here, just to kind of go on the record. The reason I'm not putting the motion together right now is just because I've not had a chance to have a conversation with Kunal yet about how much they spent. And I don't want to put a proposal together where we give them, a donation that's more than they went up spending. The goal is for us to contribute, but not be funding it entirely. And that's the reason I'm not proposing that right now, simply because I just haven't reached out to Kunal yet.
Fair enough.
Okay, under new business, first item is the Nordecke Cup.
So. First one got rained out. We got 2 games in, still have 2.5 games in, still have about 3 potentially 4 games left to play. Courtney and I have a call with Ty tomorrow at 12:30 to go over potential dates and when we can have it again. But looking like it's going to be in the winter, in the bubble. That's what we're shooting for. See if we can get it pulled off. I'm going to open it to those that played the first go round, see if they're still available for the new date, and then open it. If everyone's not available and we still need individuals to play and fill out the team, we'll open it back up to everyone. May open it to non-members as well, but have them pay a fee to participate if they'd like to. I know that was discussed during the first kind of go around to increase awareness for it and get more people involved. So all options and items are on the table at this point when it comes to the makeup date for the Nordecke Cup that got rained out.
Okay, next is the supporter summit. That was one of the things that Colin had added on. I don't know if there was anything else that anybody had with that.
I haven't gotten an update from that unless he or Allison has, but again, Ty's done his run around of doing a supporter summit that wasn't what the club controlled and where they had Issa and Nance, but they were going to do something. And I mean, I think that's just a lost cause at this point. That's just my personal feelings on that.
Okay. Next was the playoff ticket outlook. This was another item that Colin had mentioned.
I mean, I can talk. So 2 mathematical possibilities, I'm gonna say, so that Brent doesn't snicker more. Is we can be the lower seed in a best of 3, which would likely be a weekend game around Halloween. You could be the higher seed and have a home game in the wild card game, which would be Wednesday, October 22nd. Or, and I see the big smirk on your face, we can be away for the wild card game, which then would not require ticket sales. Although having no one to order. So, we've decided that we have a plan in place for ticket sales should we host the wild card game. Which would likely launch ticket sales late Sunday, early Monday, depending on when we know what we know. After decision day. And in the event of a lower seed in a best of 3, if we really catch fire. I'm moving in Brent's direction again. If we're the lower seed in the best of 3, we'll have about 10 days or so, 10 days, 2 weeks to sell tickets. So that provides
longer time period for us to potentially sell tickets, so there might be a lot of situation. Long and short of it is, we will communicate ticket plans when we know them well ahead of time. But I don't think we can expect. Yeah, I'm missing.
I think so.
Do you know anything about pricing?
Nothing's been presented to us as far as what the pricing would be.
Okay, I didn't know if there were whispers of it's gonna be 300% of what last year was, or anything like that.
No, and the earlier round games tend to be around what we would do for like a normal season ticket. And then as you get deeper into the playoffs, that's when they tend to go up. So if we do, again, kind of scenario based, if it was like a wild card game, I don't see it getting super more increased from what we've had consistent with our season tickets, unless for some reason they just completely screw us and jack up prices or do something like that. And someone correct me if I'm wrong on that, but like I said, typically the earlier ones aren't that much more increased, but as you go further into the playoffs, that's when they start increasing in price and going higher.
Definitely increased by rent.
And as that would be a weekday game that they would have 48 hours
To sell.
to sell tickets, like there should not be that much of a markup over season ticket price, if any.
Okay. Next item is the decision day membership deadline reminder.
Just a reminder, memberships close on noon on decision day. Or don't have your membership, you will not be eligible to purchase playoff tickets through Nordecke. Putting that out there well in advance of the 60-day notice that's required. It's been up online all season. So get your memberships now.
It's the banner on the website when you log in. It's one of the two banners that you see come across the top as you access the website.
Okay. Last item of new business is the 2026 elections.
I believe that was when Colin put on as well,
Yes.
but we know that those are coming up. We know.
I have a rough timeline sketched out based on what has happened the last couple years, as well as the bylaws. Working backwards, it looks like the new for those that are up for election, the new offices would start February 1st. So working backwards, tentative schedule that was laid out based on previous years. Voting would happen from January 20th to the 30th. From January 14th to the 19th would be that cure period. Nominations would be from January 3rd to the 13th. And this aligns with the bylaws being passed where AGM would be shifting to January, so people can declare their intention at AGM or during the nomination period.
Can you say those dates again?
Yeah, so the nominations roughly looking at January 3rd to the 13th. The cure period would be the 14th through the 19th. And then the voting, the 20th through the 30th. I think that gives a week and a half for the voting, which has been consistent with what it's been. The cure period, I think, is 4 or 5 days, I believe is what we had this year. And then the nominations are usually at a 2-week window. Week and a half to 2-week window, somewhere in there.
And it's only like,
Give me 1 second, I will get that pulled up. I have it.
Creatives up.
Creatives up, chairs up, one of the game day.
We get to the election hub.
And I think one other, I can't remember exactly, but I know for sure it's chair, creative, one of the game day.
Is that merch?
So the ones that are open would be creative, match day experience, merchandise, and partnerships. They are all the 1-year term. Sorry, 2-year term next time. Everyone else is kind of this. This is where we have the weird year where someone was getting certain officers were going to get short of a year on their term, basically having to do it sometime to line up with the new bylaws. So.
That's right. Okay.
Sorry, I forgot. I looked at it wrong. It is from the top down. Chairperson was a 1-year term. Creative was a 1-year term. Match day experience was a 1-year term. Merchandise was a 1-year term, and partnerships was a 1-year term.
Okay. Is there anything else with the elections that we need to discuss?
In the years past, there's been someone not affiliated with the board, I believe, it was the secretary who would kind of run the elections to kind of keep track of it. If we want to stay with that same stuff, then I believe Colin may have all of the handoff information from Brian in regards to election voting and using that system again, if we'd like to use that again.
Okay.
The advantages like the system we have now with the alternating years is that a board member who is not up for re-election could not do that if, like, say that he does something. I don't know. Do the bylaws specify that the secretary has to do that?
That has to do that, handle the elections?
Yes.
No, it did not specify.
Okay.
It just needed to be someone that was not running for an office, so there was impartiality there.
So,
So if
Bethany is
Bethany wanted
up
to
for
run,
that.
yes.
then like that's fine. Like I'm not saying that because I don't want Bethany to run the elections. But
No, you're
we have
saying that-
options.
You're saying that
There
because
are
you tried
options
to
out
push
there,
me.
yes.
So, but like,
Just, I was solely speaking on past precedents, to being the
Yeah.
secretary kind of.
like an appointed position.
And there were a couple people, it wasn't just one sole person. Like I know previously, I think it was Natalie and was it Hytham that helped?
It was Natalie, Hytham, and Tara
And-
the last 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, so there we can figure out who wants to do that, but it's not solely running on you, Bethany. Don't worry. The freedom, the future of the free world of Nordecke is not going to be on your shoulders.
Bethany just reminded me she actually won't be able to because of hashtag Bethany for creative director.
Don't listen to him, please. I'll be stricken from the record.
Hashtag great for creative.
There you go.
I'm gonna need to know from every creative director candidate, whether you are pro or anti focus.
What was your question, Emily?
Will you remind me where the breakdown is of the election?
Of who's up for election?
Yeah.
I found it on when I went to the election hub from last year's election. That's on the website.
It's not our Bibles.
You can also just look.
So it's in the bylaws listed and it says, hey, on years ending in odd numbers, it's these. Years ending in even numbers, it's these that are up.
That's right. What is?
It is in the new bylaws. I don't know exactly where in.
I think it's a subsection that specifically talks about board terms. I don't remember the section number, but it is broken down like these offices begin on years ending in even numbers, and those are the ones that are at the Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay. Is there anything under open forum? Does anyone have anything to bring up?
We have guests.
Is the town hall, it's been a week and a half still
It is still
Yes.
on, yeah.
That was, I think Robbie mentioned that, it'd be Seventh Son.
The
Yeah.
lower room at Seventh Sun.
Nick really even knows the values.
on? No, but I'll just say that, I'll see you all Sunday. At lower.com, that's, or we can communicate is that. I have lots of
It's
complaints.
rumored that there may be a Rudy Camacho sighting.
That's.
So
what-
if you want to see a resurrection from the dead, just like Jesus Christ, you
No.
can go see Rudy, allegedly.
He is a very beautiful corpse, so I will give him that. So
Robbie, for the watch party, did you say what time it is, just so I can have that noted in the minutes?
Applications and selection. Section C says terms for elected officers. 34. So it's what?
We see, we look at all those now. Was 2023 or 2024 when they just looked at the type of first? That's all.
Josh Williams might have been.
No, it's wrong.
He's 37 now. but
I've had both ever played for the.
I don't think so. So I put it there.
Okay.
That would be a next question.
So does anybody have anything for open forum? Yes, thanks, Robbie. I was just looking for the time for it. I had the date.
So we make this a nice tight hour-long meeting. It's fantastic.
Okay.
All hearts and minds clear. Second. Yeah, let's done. We're done. Hashtag Bethany for.